Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a KV-4 Kreslavskiy. It's a Tier 8 Soviet premium heavy. It's located on the south spawn of Erlenberg and it's under the command of Citron01. And it's a kind of unusual tank because it was a super heavy tank designed by the Soviets but never put into production. Game on. The idea is that the Soviets needed a new heavy tank to go along with the other designs they already had, such as the KV-3 and the KV-4, and this design, well, was to remain on the drawing board until it was actually needed. They didn't want to put it into production straight away, they just wanted the blueprint, and if the Germans came up with anything more astonishing, they would actually put this into production so it could beat them. It's basically a very heavy tank. It's got a lot of armour, 180mm at the front of the hull, 125 at the sides and 90 at the rear, and 200mm at the front of the turret, 160 at the sides and 100 at the rear. So very, very heavy armour. It's also, as you notice, got two guns. The first gun is the 107mm ZIS-6 gun, which is capable of doing 320 alpha and penetrating 227mm with standard ammo, and with a premium ammo it will go up to 298. Now the other gun, which they mounted two on the design. It can either have a 45mm or a 76mm. He's just taken a round in the ass, a 105mm round from a Rebel Arise over there by the castle. Fires one back at him though. Unfortunately, the round that hit him did 427 hit points of damage, but that's because it was a 105mm round. The round that smacked into him was a 105. He's only got a 107. Okay, he's got a T-103, which of course, you know, Soviet tank destroyer. He managed to bounce around for 440 there. If I remember correctly, the T-103 has a 13cm gun. Just took a round in the tracks and the Malshan. You can side scrape off this corner. The big risk though is you are going to take damage to the tracks. And eventually, if they can overmatch you, they can do damage to you. But I don't think he can get overmatched here. I think he's safe. As long as he doesn't take a round in the turret. As we know, the turret does have a lot of armour. Just some of the guns that were going to be firing at him probably could actually pen. You can see he took one round through the turret there, and I think the other round, oh look, went through the gun mantlet, and that gun mantlet is incredibly thick, so very surprising that he actually took a round through that mantlet. So this design, the KV-4 Kreslavskiy, one of several designers, because the Kreslavskiy people was a couple of designers working on it. There was other design bureaus also working on the same project. Managed to get around into the side of the defender there. I think the enemy was very much ignoring him, but the 50T he did manage to get a pen, and it looks like it was right on the side of the turret. Looks like he overmatched the armour there. And given that it was a 440 hit, I think that was a 122mm round. Okay. Fires one into the tracks of the 50TP and gets tracked in return by the Malshan. He's got 2,000 hit points of damage already, and he's blocked 1,700. It's a bit difficult when you're a solitary tank taking on multiple enemies, but he's got company now. TP's turned up, and that distracted the defender long enough that he was actually able to get a round in. And you'll notice he's actually using premium rounds. No, I don't think you can get over there. You probably noticed as well, this tank's got a kind of unconventional layout. The turret's more towards the rear of the vehicle than at the front. And the defender takes another round directly through the turret. 371 on Fortunately, we're not going to get the kill on him because he was taken out by the 50 TP. But the Martian is now side onto us, so we can actually put rounds into him. And in fact, he goes to the weak spot between the tracks and gets a hit. 349. That's a high roll. This time round, side of the Martian? No, he actually takes a round in the tracks, but he fires right back, and it does go into the side of the Martian near the crew compartment. Trying to get a shot through the Liberté, and he does, but the Liberté fires one back, and unfortunately he loses 300 hit points there. That's a 90mm, I think. Fires one into the 50 TP, gets another hit. 332, which is a high roll. A lot of side scraping. This is one of the good things about the Kreslavskiy, is it can side scrape. Yeah, I think he needs more help actually, because he's basically holding these guys back single-handedly. Unfortunately there he did take a damage, but it was a HE round. 71 hit points. Wasn't loaded in time before he could get a shot at those guys departing, and goes to the weak spot in the Martian and gets him on the turret for 326. Another high roll, but he's down to 23 hit points now, which makes him a one shot. They only need to tap him with HE and he'll probably expire. Yeah, I think really the only thing he can do here right now is hold this position and wait until the 50 TP or the Liberté get the enemy to commit and shoot, and then he can pop out and take a shot. But if he tries to do so without them taking a shot first, then I think they might try to put a round into him, and it might be the end of his game. Yeah, he's asking for help. From the 50 TP, of course. Oh, 50 TP just got hit. I think the enemy fired. They've just lost their 50 TP. He can go for the Martian, and he gets him. Good shot. That saves him from getting wiped out. But there is a Citron01 over the other side of the battlefield. He's decided to go this route rather than go up the main street. There's only a few enemies on the main street, but the one that's really a worry is that Citron01 or the KV-4. He gets one round into the Centurion, being behind the wall. He's angling nicely, and he's gone. There's the KV-4. Nice shot, straight through the wall. 291 low roll. That guy's racing away as fast as he can. There's only two enemies left, the KV-4 and the M449 Liberté. I'm not sure that the KV-4 can actually see where Citron is. I think he's fairly well hidden at the moment. He doesn't want to present himself as an easy target to that KV-4. There he is. Okay, side scraping. He's gone over the ridgeline. He's actually down near the water. Difficult to get a hit, but it's difficult for him to get a hit at you. So, got to remember that. But one of our teammates, the 50 TP's moving up, and he's gone. The Skoda T50 actually got a shot from the side, and the gun's up because it's a victory. Here's the end of battle results, and that was an ace tanker game for Citron01 in the KV-4 Kreslavskiy. He managed to get a KV-4 Kreslavskiy, I should say. Hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from 4 different enemies, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 10, a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, a shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. He also got a Spartan medal because he blocked a shot when he had less than 10% of his hit points left, a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, and a steel wall for blocking more damage than anyone else, and also a high caliber for dealing more damage than everyone else. So an incredibly good game, really, considering that he did take a good few hits before he was able to finally defeat that Martian and get out of the corner that he was in. Let's have a look at team score and see where he was. Well, there you go. Top of the table with 6,109 hit points of damage. The next high scorer was that Centurion Mark 7-1. Quite a dangerous customer with 3,358 hit points of damage. And the third highest was the Skoda T50 with 2,239. When it came to kills, it was the Skoda T50 and the 50TP who managed to get the highest amount, along with the KV-4 and that Citron01. They all had 3 kills each. The T49 had 2, and so did the Liberté. And I'm afraid that Citron01 only managed to get the 1 kill from the game, but he did get the highest damage. When it came to base XP, he's top of the table again with 1,654. 1,010 goes to the Liberté and 906 goes to the 50TP. You notice that figure is so much bigger than that one. It shows that Citron01 was doing most of the work in that game. 23 shots fired, 22 direct hits, good accuracy, 20 penetrations. Yeah, some of his shots did hit the hulls and some hit the tracks. I'm afraid so. He didn't get as many penetrations as I think he would have liked, but he did do a lot of damage. 6,109 hit points, of which 915 were at more than 300 meters. Those were the shots he fired at the Citron01 and the KV-4. At least I think it was, if I'm correct here. 16 hits received, 4 penetrations, 11 non-penetrations, and 1 hit by way of splash damage. It shows that the armor on this tank is very, very good. It is a super heavy tank. It's a very it is a heavy tank. It's 100 tons, so it is along similar lines to the German heavy tanks like the Mauschen, but of course, as I said, it never got put into production. 3,380 hit points of damage blocked by the armor. 4 enemy vehicles spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 1 killed, and 143 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 107,700 credits, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, consumables, took away a profit of 16,433 credits. 1,654 XP, 248 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 2,729 experience points altogether. So the KV-4 Kreslavskiy, that's what you have to do in order to get an ace tanker in it. But I think Citron01 did far more than an ace tanker, actually. I think he really put the embellish on it, because he showed us how this thing can side scrape incredibly well and take on more than one tank at the same time. He was holding up 3 or 4 enemy tanks really in that corridor. They couldn't move without getting shot by his gun, and even if they fired at him, the chances are that it was just going to go into the tracks and not do much damage. In fact, they had to try and get the shots into the turret if they could, but even as I said right at the start, the turret armor is very strong. It's 200mm at the front, it's 160 at the sides and 100 at the rear, so yeah, you really do need to be very lucky to get a good shot in the right spot to actually overmatch the turret and get a shot through. In fact, it was amazing that somebody actually managed to get a pen through the mantlet, because the mantlet on this tank is actually very thick. So he was a very lucky shot, or he must have been using premium ammo. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below, because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.